Hello, crazy world. You've arrived at That's a Pretty Crazy Idea. And me, I'm John. The car still has some problems. I know the first gear synchro's gone. Second is on its way. It's going to need to do the brakes. But just right now they feel fine and there's no howling. So I was also told that the clutch was replaced before I bought it. But with the work that has been done on it additionally, I'm like, who knows? Now, as a rule, I'm going to try and wait for the rebuild. Hopefully I'll get started on that next year. But we'll wait and see. See if I get all the parts, see if everything's coming together. Got to get the Red Baron on the road. I still have the DTCs around the O2 sensor in the cat. It actually has gone to say that it was fuel rich because I put the spacer in and it says that it's got a rich fuel mixture now. Problem with that is it's leaning out the gas and I'm not sure whether it's getting too lean for the car. So we're going to wait and see. I'm going to put the X tool back on it and try and figure that out. With the computer thinking that the car's running rich, it might lean out the mixture too much and make the cold start much harder. It's not quite as quick, I don't think, but it's not too bad right now. It's better than before I put the spool valve on anyways. To run it a little rich over lean, damage everything a little bit less. Okay, so let's talk about the different things that went on. Part 18, the spool valve. It was a good fix. And it turned out it must have been a sticking valve and not just the actuator or the oil pressure switch. I also realized that the code had already appeared last March, but I had wiped it and it didn't come back on in the summer, so I didn't have to look at it. Yeah, it was more a question of just the code. Once I wiped out the codes for whatever, it just disappeared, so I didn't think about it again. Okay, next page. Part 16, the alternator, high voltage. Now this was the big fix. This is what I consider the big fix. I was kind of lucky that I didn't hardly use the car from when I bought it in July of 2021 all the way through to when I fixed the alternator in August 2022. I only put on about 400 kilometers in that time, which was probably real lucky because Lord knows what damage it would have done otherwise. It was running rampant in there, I think, personally. I don't know why Honda doesn't actually make this little battery light flash when you get high voltage. High voltage is way more damaging to the car than if you have the battery light come on for the battery getting discharged because of no voltage. Much rather have seen something other than like outside lights flashing and stuff like that, and things burning out. Been better off if that little red light, if the little battery light would have been flashing. And I think it can be done. I don't think that that's an impossibility for Honda or anybody else. So if you know someone at Bigwig at Honda, give them a kick in the you know where. Part 15, CSK remained a problem until the alternator fix. Now the CSK automatically relearned itself. I didn't do anything. It was just, I could not get it to relearn with the Xtool V8. But then as soon as I fixed the alternator and the voltage went to the right voltage, boom, the CSK was fixed. I was like, oh, that is sweet. Okay, now the clutch. Oh yeah, the clutch master cylinder. What I cannot figure out is why they don't put the union in the master cylinder. It's probably supposedly having an Imperial union and not a Honda one, which would probably be metric. And the fit tolerances are really tight probably. So I don't know why they don't just add it the way they added it to the slave cylinder, because they had the union on in there. So it's like, why these guys do things, I don't know. Why they don't warn you and say, hey, look, this is a Imperial union that you need right on the box or something, or in a pamphlet inside, I don't know. But because of it, I could scratch one housing, one clutch housing. I'm sure the brakes would be the same if you didn't do that and you bought a jobber part. But yeah. Part 13, coil packs. Definitely a fix. When they overheated, they started acting up, but were fine up until then. Changing the coil packs was a real easy fix, if not a little costly, but at least I didn't unpack the wiring, which would have been, big hassle to get nowhere. The Part 12 computer, this fix worked incredibly well. It solved a lot of problems, a lot of things just disappeared after this one. But I don't believe that the ground straps were the big problem. I'm pretty sure it was the alternator now burning out a lot of the electrics, and the computer was one thing that got hit in the transformer. And just glad I found the alternator really quite soon afterwards. And in case you're wondering, people that work on computers probably noticed that I did not add the sealer. So I'm hoping it's gonna hold together. I don't think it shouldn't, because the computer in the fit is in the passenger compartment, not in the engine compartment, so it won't get quite as abused to the weather. In case you're wondering why I did not add this about the alternator to the end of the video of part 12, the video has got 30 different frames, and when you're working on your phone, it allows those frames to move around every time you touch the screen. And so you have access really to 12 easily. 15 is okay, but when you get past 20, you're just continually trying to keep everything in order. So that's why it's here. And I learned that I needed to decide to leave well enough alone with that particular section. So that's why it's here and not in part 12. Part 11, EEPROM. Interesting exercise for me. Just glad I went with part 12 though. Part 12 was getting that transformer off of the computer board was hard enough. I wouldn't have liked to have thought what it would have been like for me. I would have mucked up the EEPROM transfer for sure. Part 10, sensors and collectors, another definite fix. Someone definitely got in here and mucked things up. Don't know what precisely or how or who. Doesn't matter. I got it back together anyways. Part 9, ground straps. I'm not positive that they weren't working, but it's always okay to clean your ground straps, and for the amount of time it takes to clean your ground straps and make sure that your car's fully grounded properly is negligible. You know, I mean, if you want to go through the whole, I think I had 4 ground straps, including the one at the collector, and I mean, the time it takes is negligible. Maybe an hour to do the whole thing if you want, and at least you know that it's not going to be a problem. Okay, just as a final thought here, this would have cost so much at a dealer. Arg, I'm not a mechanic, but whoever worked on the car before, whoa, that's all I gotta say. I mean, geez. I'm still amazed this car even ran. The car now runs so smooth and quiet at when it's warmed up at idle. I literally have to look to see if the car is even running by checking the rev counter. I cannot sit at a stoplight and not go like. So I'm kind of waiting for that supercharger to come from Merc Racing, and that'll make enough noise, I'm sure, that I won't be looking down to find out if my car's still running or not. And in case you're wondering about the shaky videos and everything, that should come to an end. I won't be using the BlackBerry phone anymore. I'm going to be using a new Insta360 X3 as my camera. So hopefully that's going to make life a lot simpler, because I'll be able to video edit on the computer. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I didn't want to do it for anything that I hadn't finished, because the BlackBerry files, if you put them anywhere, they seem to lose the vocals. The vocals would not stay where they're supposed to stay, at least into the Insta360 app. So, hoping that is totally resolved now. And this is the last video on the BlackBerry. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I know it's going to take me a week or two just to figure out the Insta360 and get it set up and figure out the editing. So, but I look forward to it. Yeah. Except for some unboxing, this is probably going to be the last video, cross my fingers, of the Badass Fit until the rebuild. But for right now, I'm going to be working on the Red Baron, replacing the ring gear, putting on a new front pulley, and yeah, I have to drop the motor for that. And also adjust the car hoist a little bit in the hydraulics, so it makes it a bit more convenient for me.